It's just a story, guys. Jimmy hated school like a Jew hates Nazis. Every day he'd wake up, wait for his posse. A group of guys he walked to school with offered protection. For a low fee of $10, he could acknowledge his reflection. When the school was reached, all bets were off. Just getting down the hall was hell enough. Never mind bathroom breaks, had to be cautious. Afternoon breaks, he'd eat lunch in the closet. The janitor knew as he went through similar. The black eyes did heal, but the scars he do remember. Jimmy was slender, barely 100 pounds. And when the bullies would come around, he'd lose another ounce. On a rare occasions when the main culprit was absent, he could focus undistracted on school stuff he lacked in. Cause back then, he was a damn good student. But bullies are savages who attack for amusement. He could focus on the work, grades declined. He'd go home at night, tell his mom he hated life, begged to change schools, played sick when he could. He tried to explain it, but he was misunderstood. Teachers couldn't help. They temporary fixes to prevent a permanent issue that existed in history. The second they turned their heads, Jimmy's in misery, getting shoved into lockers and simply existing. One day things are taking a whole new level. Jim's followed into a restroom with two new devils with evil intentions, seized him while he was pissing, dragged him in the empty toilet seat and dipped him. Jimmy tried to fight back, kicking and scratching, but next thing he knew, he was witnessing blackness. A little time later, he woke up wet like a drenched napkin, peeled himself off. It was back and killed his madness. What's the point? No matter how hard he fought, he always thought that it was all for naught. Jimmy ran out to school with one destination in mind. The problems that he brought, his registration from life. He ran in Lincoln overpass, tears escaping his eyes. Climbed up over the guardrail, wanted to die. The wind blowing through his hair was nearly intoxicating, but his stomach was aching and he felt nauseated. He closed his eyes tight, bent at the knees, and just before the flight, someone yelled out, "Jimmy!" He turned his head slightly and caught up a glimpse of his mother. Jimmy would have been dead if it wasn't for another other. He wiped his face and it nearly slipped stepping down. His mother's warm embrace felt like heaven now. He talked about the bullies and all the past encounters. He talked about it fully, how he felt like a coward, motherless and coolly, cause he almost went southward. She was religious and suicide meant Satan. It was flames and torture and internal domination. Pain for certain, she didn't earn her baby, so listened intently for concerns, thinking maybe somehow through spoken words she could expose a nerve. After all that's reason God had chosen her. Her worry was real, with a hint of self-consciousness, but she stepped up when she saw how real it is. It took potential death to recognize the depth, and Jimmy could see it in her eyes as she wept. Next day at school, word spread like diseases. Some kids joked and others needed Kleenex. A teacher gave a speech about anti-bullying, clearly aimed at Jim and a kid named Julian who went through similar. Jim's was the pinnacle, but incidences like this were all too familiar. Fast forward 30 years, a man cracks open the paper, flips to the obituary, and stumbles on Jimmy Taylor, survived by a wife, a son, and a daughter. His body was found battered, floated on the harbor, blunt force impacted, dead when it hit the water. All them years of bullying finally got him.